Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football.
The first day of training is when I realized, this is why they win the league every year.
When I spoke with Kevin, if I gonna sign or no for Olympiacos, he said, "You are crazy, go direct, my friend."
Να πετύχω ήθελα να μείνω στην ιστορία του Ολυμπιακού.
I can't speak, sure.
Yeah.
Έλα μαλάκα!
Σ' αγαπώ πάρα πολύ, Piraeus. Είμαι Γάβρος πάντα, όλοι μαζί.
Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your number one English source for all things Olympiacos, by the fans, for the fans. Big news hitting the Greek media today. It appears that Francois Modesto, Olympiakos' chief scout, general manager, technical director, I think he's been all of those things over the few years. It seems he's on the way out, and it looks like a bit of an Italian revolution is about to sweep at Olympiakos. I'm Costa. I'm joined by Labro Sirmo, my co-host. Labro, who we got today? We've got a guest from Italy, someone that broke the news.
Yeah, we do have a guest, someone who broke the news, and we saw the rumors earlier in the week, but it really broke through this morning, and the media reports broke through with the Sanctis coming in. It wasn't sure, was someone leaving? Was he coming for a new position? It wasn't clear. And then just a few hours later, we got the news Francois Modesto was leaving. And yeah, I guess we bring our guest in to explain the story, you know?
Let's bring him in. Make sure you hit the like button if you like what you see, what you hear. Subscribe. Make sure you always get your updates. And without further ado, we're going to bring in Marco Conterio from Tutto Mercato. Marco, I hope I pronounced your surname correctly.
Yeah, you did. You did good. It's strange also in Italy that they do pronounce it in a wrong way. So I'm quite surprised about it. So
excellent.
Nice job.
Perfect.
Well done.
First of all, Marco, you guys broke the news yesterday. You were telling us about De Sanctis. I'm just going to hand over straight to you. Like, what's what? What do you know from Italy about Modesto, De Sanctis, Sabatini? Tell us what the story is.
Yeah, it's such a long story to talk about. There are three persons involved. First of all, I'd say it's better to start from who's leaving, from Modesto. Was going to Monza, which is the Berlusconi's owned club, with Adriano Galliani as a CEO. Okay, they already got a sport director. Is an Italian one, is Filippo Antonelli, but they are looking for a technical director, and Francois Modesto will go there to Monza. There's quite no doubt about it. The deal is almost done. And Modesto will be the new technical director of Monza, which is, the Berlusconi's own club, newly promoted in Serie A club. They would make huge investments for players and other stuff like this, and it's white and red as Olympiacos is. But Olympiacos now will have to have or a new sport director or maybe two person involved with transfers. Yesterday we did break the news about Morgan De Sanctis. If you don't know who he is a very famous former goalkeeper, also of AS Roma, who was the youngster sport director, but also the sport director of AS Roma, who left when the new owners came, the Friedkin. De Sanctis had many offers from Serie B in Italy, but from what we know, he got the offer to be the general director of Olympiacos. General director is the right position. When you have a general director, you gotta have a person directly involved with transfers and scouting. And Morgan is a very, very interesting person and with a lot of knowledge about players and transfers. I know him such a good, so he's very he got knowledge about it. But from what we know, tomorrow Walter Sabatini, one of the most famous sport director here in Italy, tomorrow we'll have a meeting with Olympiacos board to be the new sport director of Olympiacos. I'm just ending my what I'm saying with Sabatini. Until 4 days, 5 days ago, was Salernitana sport director. They made a miracle, a huge miracle, to avoid the relegation in Serie B. But then the relationship with the owner of Salernitana was crashed, completely crashed. So also today and yesterday, they made interview to shout one to the other. Yesterday said, I got an offer from a very big club, a big foreign club that I'm thinking about to go to, and it's Olympiacos. We knew it.
Wow, big domino
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
Labro, what you got? I'm sure you got questions. Fire away. You've been looking at this all day.
We don't have that much time, and I don't know. It's just a bit mind blowing. We didn't see this coming, Marco. I didn't know if you know, but Olympiacos starts its preseason in a week because it's unfortunately starting the Champions League qualifiers early this season. Yep. So there's confusion about who the players have been linked to already this summer, if they're coming in and whatnot. Costa, I don't know. I don't even know what to ask. I have so many questions running through my mind. Maybe.
I mean, so as far as I know, Morgan De Sanctis, I remember him as a goalkeeper. I'm a bit older than Labro. He was at Juventus.
I remember him as well.
Yeah.
I'm not that young.
He was the right-hand man of Thiago Pinto at Roma.
Oh,
right?
I mean, it was the right hand of Monchi and then of Thiago Pinto. But when Thiago Pinto was in Rome, he was the right hand, but was not so central to the project. Thiago Pinto did bring his own scouting system to Rome with his own people. Odefontes from Leicester, other from other club, and stuff like this. So Morgan De Sanctis is now looking for his own project. Okay, from what we knew, I'm quite surprised about it. He spoke to be the new general director of the club, but I know he always has been with his own scouts, involved also in transfers, in scouting. So I don't know, maybe a general director with a technical director. I can anticipate your question. Can De Sanctis and Sabatini come together to Olympiacos? We're still working on it. We're still working to understand it because, I mean, Sabatini is a very strong personality. Is maybe one of the biggest personalities in football that you can ever find in every country. He's an old-style sport director, big smoker, just watching player by himself. He discovered Dybala, Cavani, and other big players in his career. He's one he was the sport director of Palermo when Palermo went up, El Mudo Vasquez, other players like them. So, I mean, is an old-style sport director, but with huge personality. Morgan De Sanctis is now looking for his own pathway, his own role, his own project, and not to be the vice someone else. I hope you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe can they come together? From what we understood, it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult, but here in Italy, many figures are working together in clubs. So, you said, Lambros, that the preseason has started, but Sabatini went to Salernitana just to make the January transfers when Salernitana was almost relegated. Was, can I say, almost fucked? Okay, and but he completely did revolution the team with new players, also unknown players like the midfielder Ederson, the Brazilian one, and they made a miracle with David and Nicole on the bench. So he can also build his own project from the beginning, but also coming on route. So it can be quite interesting to see.
That's really what I was interested in as I was thinking more about this. Olympiacos transfers in the last few years has been dominated from the Portuguese and French market with our coach Pedro Martins, Christian Carambe, who, from what we know now, is staying at Olympiacos, not leaving with Modesto. So the confusion we may have is, one, can Pedro Martins, the coach, continue with new management? And two, where does the transfer strategy go? Are we shifting away from the French and Portuguese market? Those are the first questions that come to my mind.
Yeah, it's quite hard to know now, because Sabatini still have to decide. Molga the Sanctis, the deal is not already done, so I cannot go one step forward, and I cannot be in their minds. But from how I know them, especially Sabatini, because the Sanctis is a young sport director, okay, and he knows very well the South American market, for example. Okay, so in case, just expect transfer for South America, Argentina, because he loves Argentinian football. Talking about Sabatini, he wants to build his own project. Okay, so it's hard to believe that, okay, he says, okay, I come and everything remains the same way. I made you the example of what happened in Salernitana. It completely did revolution the club in just 1 month, at half season. So just imagine what can happen. And at the beginning of the season, we're okay. There's the knockout round in Champions League, but I mean, it's a long way to the end. So you can revolution everything just in a few days.
That's very interesting. I have a question about De Sanctis, Marco. Do you think that there's been any contact with Torosidis? I don't know if they were on the same squad at Roma, perhaps not, but I think Olympiacos has got a good relationship with Roma in general. I think even Monza, he had a relationship with Olympiacos before he went back to Roma. And my other question linked to De Sanctis is, can you tell us perhaps some of his successes, if he's had any notable successes in Italy? You mentioned, I mean, Sabatini's 65 years old. He's been around for a very long time. You said he bought Dybala, Cavani to Italy. Like, what can you tell us about De Sanctis?
Another player.
Pastore. What can you tell us about De Sanctis?
Like, we still have to discover him as a sport director. About Torosidis, I have to be fair, I don't know. I work on it and I'll let you know. But is a young sport director, so he has never been the first figure, the first man of the team, of the board. So it's hard to say successes. Okay, many as keeper, but now it's a new life as a sport director. He worked a lot with the youngsters, with young players in Roma. He knows a lot of young developments. He loves to work with young guys, and Roma is one of the best canteras in Italy. So from what I can imagine, it's another key part of his work will be obviously working with young players to develop. And it's not mandatory that you work with young, say you don't have to win. Because, by the way, if you go to Olympiacos, the main aim is winning the title. No doubt about it. So, yeah, every year. So you have to find the young players to win the title every year. But I mean, for what I know, he loves Argentina very well. He was close to go to Serie B those months, but maybe he did not receive the right offer from there. And so he went scouting in Argentina just days ago. Now he has been in Italy, and now he's directly in contact with Olympiacos. So I think the next day, maybe tomorrow or the next 2 days, will be key to know what will happen about them and about your club.
Thanks very much, Marco. I know you've got to run.
Just a bit busy in these days. Yeah.
I have one last question. I'm going to ask you if you can make a prediction. Like, what is your feeling? Do you feel like Sabatini and De Sanctis can work together, or do you think Olympiacos is going to have to choose experience and network over youth and determination drive to build something as a young person? Because
It's such an interesting question. It depends from the board of Olympiacos, and knowing them, they have worked together with other figures, the other person. Do they want to have another one this year in another very different experience in a foreign country? In my opinion, no, but you never know. I cannot be in their mind. I cannot be in Olympiacos' mind. Just a prediction, but it's just a 50-50. So if they would have been me, I would say no, but I sincerely don't know. Maybe they say yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. You can follow Marco Conterio on his Twitter account. We'll drop it in the details below. News coming out of Tutto Mercato. I suppose things are still developing, so we'll be following to see what the news is coming out of Italy. And thank you, molto grazie, Marco, for coming on, and thanks again.
Ciao. Bye, guys. Obrigado. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
So Costa, where does that leave us? How are you feeling about this situation? It's crazy. I didn't see it coming. I saw the Protatlitis headline. It made some.
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday, right? I sent you a message yesterday morning, and I was like,
"What the hell is this about?"
Yeah, it's like, did you notice this little square in the front page about the Sanctis coming in? I was like, what is this?
And no, you sent it to me, and I was like, what is the Sanctis? Who is the Sanctis? Because when it's written in Greek like that, it's so weird. And I haven't heard the guy's name in a while because he's retired now, years, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I this morning when we saw the news break, it wasn't clear what was going on. People were saying, "Oh, he's coming to fill a new role." Lina, I forget the last name, the lawyer of the club, was going to take a back seat. Maybe she was leaving for not leaving, but moving more towards a legal roles, contract signing, things like that. But it looks clear. And can I just say one thing? He didn't mention it, but Bastini, if he comes, what is the role of Karambe in Olympiacos this coming season?
What about Torosidis?
There's a lot of questions. I don't see the role for Karambe now with the two Italians coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. So these are questions that are going to be answered the next 3 to 4 days. None of us saw this coming. It also leads a question, are transfers frozen until this is complete? So we're looking at no transfers until next week, which is something that I think Adonis Ikonomidis, who's very close to these things, that has always been from Sport 24, and I think he was solo before, said that Pedro Martins is happy with no transfers coming in.
He need to get rid of players too.
Yeah. And that's going to be a big problem of the Sanctis and Sabatini, more so than buying players. I tweeted about it on my Twitter account. Olympiacos is heavily bloated right now. The payroll is extremely high. A lot of players not performing. How do you get these players out the door? It's something Francois Modesto and the current team has struggled with. Maybe we're looking at a change there. Maybe we're looking for a reshuffle. And finally, Costa, I don't know, as we heard, how the Sanctis moves forward with Pedro Martins. He's a young sporting director. You would think he would want to bring in one of his own guys. I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot to depack, and I know this is a short episode. We just wanted to break the news to you, but big changes out of Olympiacos tonight. Maybe we do a longer form episode tonight to talk about it in detail.
Yeah. Well, for now, I think we've got some very nice background from our friend Marco, and we've put the questions out to you. We'll be back soon, guys. Yeah. We'll keep you up to date. Make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll be notified as soon as the next episode is out or the next live stream is online. Thanks very much, Labro. Again, thank you to Marco that came on. Guys, We'll see you again soon. Take it easy.